In this video, let's quickly cover this 404 not found middleware component that is used by default when a path is not, or let's say when a matching endpoint handler is not found. Let's go back to this previous diagram over here. I'm going to copy this and just borrow it over here. All right, so this is how it works. You knew how the routing middleware worked from the previous video. The routing middleware try to match the request to the endpoint handler based on the identity of, which is the combination between method and URL, and then the endpoint middleware try to execute the endpoint handler. But what if the routing middleware fails to match the request to any of the endpoint? ASP.NET Core by default, although you don't see it in the code, right? You don't see any other middleware in the code, but by default, ASP.NET Core applies a few other middlewares. And one of them is this 404 not found middleware, which means that when the routing middleware cannot find any of the endpoint handlers to be matched to or mapped to, then it's going to actually route the request to another middleware. That is the 404 not found. This middleware is going to generate a 404 not found dummy page, and this middleware is included in the pipeline by default. 404 not found middleware is also a type of endpoint handler, right? Because by definition, it handles the request, first of all. Secondly, it returns a response, and this response contains a special message, which is 404 not found. So we can actually see that if we try to execute the application. Let's try to execute it. And then at the beginning here, you see that we are targeting the root path. But because none of our endpoint handler handles the root path, therefore it goes to this branch, which is the 404 not found. This is also a terminal middleware, right? The endpoint handler as well, which returns a special response, and that is this page. It says this localhost page cannot be found. No web page was found for web address, this one, which goes to the root path, and then it displays the error code here. So you might think this is not a page, it's actually a page. And this page's response is generated by this dummy middleware here, the 404 not found middleware. So this is what I want to show you in this video very quickly. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.